And I did it this way, but it does that way. Fuck you. I'll tell you. I hate the fact that they put me to so much. But that's the demiurge. And that's how he wants it. But how's everybody doing? Okay, I got my weed. And I have my Aperol and my Perrier water. I add the water to it. It's only 50% alcohol. Aperol is an aperitivo or aperitif. So it's not alcohol. I think a few nights, days, you've seen me with my eyes closed and doing the video. I'm not drunk. I'm just tired. Sometimes I don't sleep for 2 days straight, for 2 days. You know, running multiple businesses and doing what I'm doing, and then dealing with my health issues and everything else, personal life, is, it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm in my mid-50s. I feel young, though, as a bird. But sometimes I feel my age, and the flesh wearieth. But you have to continue on. You have to soldier on. And you can do about it. That's how it was designed. And I don't smoke like before. I don't do the same thing. You know, I'm good. I'll do on occasion. Look at on occasion, you know. On occasion. I miss my music. Remember when I used to put my music on like that? Silent took all that away. But, hey, that's the experience. It'll be back again. It'll be back again. What's life without a little bit of obstacles, a little bit of challenges? I guess, it really is the way you look at it. It really is the way you look at it. If you look at it in a fatalistic way, and that's what it will turn out to be. But if you look at it another way, where it benefits you, it's advantageous to you, then that's the best thing you can do. But yeah. Let me close the door. It's a little, I can hear the music, but God help me if I get hit with another infringement right violation. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see who's here before I begin. Okay. They're telling me not to do that. They want me to jump right in. Aries. If you have Aries on the ascendant, then you have Sagittarius in the ninth house. Aries, you are here. And this is based on the mundane chart, not your individual horoscope or birth chart. For that, we need to do your individual birth chart. But this is the mundane. So this is for all people who are Aries. Aries, you have Sagittarius in its natural ninth house. Aries, it's time for you to change your thinking. It's time for you to evolve your thinking. It's time for you to change your belief system, especially the part of your belief system that no longer serves you. And you got to do it quickly. A radical shift to make room for the new stuff that you need to know and act upon in the incoming age, which is already here, Aries. You got Sagittarius, solar eclipse, new moon, and Sag. Because in the South Node, or not really, it's wide. When Mars comes in on the 15th of December, it's going to conjunct the South Node, Aries. The South Node makes reference to your childhood, your past. It was the time in your life where the intellectual or philosophical indoctrination took place 9 years ago. You were taught something that either was a mistake or did not serve you. And you've been stuck in a rut for 9 years. There may have been problems if you're married with your in-laws, which the ninth house represents. You might have issues with religion or philosophy or even the concept of God. You might be an atheist, for all we know, or thinking along those lines. You might have anger towards religion or towards God and the bullshit that's been indoctrinated to us over the ages. And if you feel like you've had enough, then you are exactly where you need to be. Because that's going to be the impetus that's going to cause you to look at other philosophical schools and see which one makes more sense to you, which is comparable with how you are living. Yeah, I know. Just a little bit. I hope it doesn't come through. Yes, I miss my music. I miss the old ways. But we know that life is not stagnant and nothing stands still in nature. Things either evolve or degenerate. But I miss it. You know, it was the one few times where it was just magical, no hurt, no test, no trial. There's a verse in the Bible, and it's in the book of Proverbs, where it says, rejoice! Rejoice in the days of your youth when evil comes not, and life is blissful until the day grows weary and Saturn approaches. Oh my God, that verse. I did a little, improvising, but it says that I cried when I read that. Oh, it's so nice and sweet when things go nice and right and there's no worry about evil and bad, and you can do that. But when we start to grow up, 29, life hits, and then it's a whole different ball game. You guys don't understand that, but when you get my age, you're going to miss the fun times and the easy times. Because we know that it's only temporary. 75% of life experiences is difficult and painful. And that's the way this system was created to be. I'm telling you, like a prison, like an Alcatraz, with a warden, Jehovah. But again, if I look at it that way, it seems grim. But you can't blame me for looking at it that way, because if we look at the world, it reflects that. The world is a chaotic mess. We have to attribute that end result to some philosophical ideology that is no longer working. It's putting us crazy. It's putting the planet upside down. And we have to change our belief system if that system of belief no longer works. It's a little time, I remember it's a little time before it fades completely away. Aries, the woman and the man. Maybe you need to go back to school. Order a course, not for any degree, just for education's sake. Take back, relax, order some courses. and enjoy the knowledge that comes to you. It's time to nourish your mind. Sagittarius at 12 degrees, the degree of sorrow, means that there was sorrow in your life these past 9 years. Ninth house related. The ninth house rules travel, the in-laws, the extended family from the wife or spouse, colleges, belief systems, religion, spirituality, and ecclesiastical subjects, traveling, the publishing industry, advertising, commerce, and public relations. These are areas that you might have used to your advantage or was used against you. Or there was a barricade which you didn't understand or was not able to employ the philosophy that you've learned in your life. And maybe you were fooled or misled. Now the universe is making room to restart again. Number 9 solar eclipse in Sagittarius. At 12 degrees, again, number 3, 3339. So it is the belief system areas that needs an overhaul. If it doesn't, again, Sagittarian wisdom is practical wisdom, not philosophical or theoretical. It can be that though, it can be. But for the most part, the wisdom that we find in Sagittarius is the wisdom of having lived life and then making an inventory of how that life morally or immorally affected you and those around you. And that's practical philosophy, living philosophy. That is the what Sagittarius stands for. So you have to understand that if we are to make sense of what this all means, this eclipse, and a new moon at 12 degrees, all in Sag. And then all astrologers are on their toes on the 15th when Mars comes into Sag and conjuncts the South Node. Has an edge. You don't understand. These things don't happen every day. A solar eclipse on top of a new moon, conjunct the South Node, huge implication. And the past life dynamic. The South Node rules past lives. So there is something that you are doing or a belief system that you're still holding on to that you've done in other lifetimes. And now is the time to sever it once and for all. Number 9, which means in occult philosophy, completion. A whole cycle has been completed of bullshit and bullshit thinking or indoctrination or dogmatic thinking. But it makes sense that this is happening now because we're moving from one age to another, which require a whole different mindset than the one we left in Pisces. Aries. So that's a lot to think about. Taurus. If you have Taurus rising, or your Taurus sun sign, this applies to all Taurians. To have Taurus rising, you have to have Sagittarius in the 8th house of Scorpio. Other people's assets, other people's knowledge, other people's money, other. Maybe you've been led by the wrong people, Taurus. Or you've been told stuff of an occult or mysterious nature that was utter bullshit. You might have been misinformed. The 12th degree is the degree of sorrow. So to have said that this conjunction of the solar eclipse at 12 degrees, the degree of sorrow in the 8th house of money, finance, maybe you have not had a good luck in making money or being sustained financially in the way you would like to. Maybe there's been inconsistencies in your income and inconsistencies in your expectation of how much you need. Or there's always a lack and never enough, or things never fully actualized to full promise for you, Taurus. And it's been like that for 9 years. Or you might be stuck in a belief system that no longer serves you, that deals with how to deal with money, how to deal with finance, and how to deal with the daily vicissitudes of other people's monies that allow things to move or not move. You might need to do an overhaul and maybe re-strategize and rethink of how you're going to approach the next 9 to 12 years in respect to having more control of your finances, because that really is important to you, Taurus. The 8th house is a karmic house too. You might be going through some painful transformations that you don't understand, and transformations that are necessary, because Taurus, you could be fucking stubborn. As stubborn as a mule. And it might take a slap from the universe to get you to move, Taurus. Because if the universe doesn't do it, nobody can move you. So I won't be surprised if you, out of all the other fixed signs, is suffering the most from this type of transit that's happening. Because it is a painful one. And I did mention in my astrological consultation that we have two types of crises: a crisis in action and a crisis in consciousness. The crisis in action falls in Scorpio. The crisis in consciousness occurs at Sagittarius. Which of the two is the most painful? You would think it would be Scorpio. I used to think that too until I went through it myself in my phase of life. Sagittarius is extremely painful because the crisis is telling you to give up what you knew and what helped define who you are today. Now you got to throw it all away. And there is no prospect for what's coming next. So now you throw that away, which is all you knew, and there's nothing else to replace it at the moment. That causes great fear and anxiety. It's very, and Scorpio, not so much. And they can flip. Scorpio could be consciousness, and Sagittarius can be action. An action in crisis, or a crisis in action, requires, like right now, I'm in crisis. I'm in crisis in action. Somebody's defrauding my subscriber for thousands of dollars, changing my shit. I'm being attacked here, I'm being attacked there. Now I gotta move. Call the FBI, call the police, do this, do that. I gotta move to protect my subscribers and their money, and my reputation and my company. And then I got witchcraft, then I got my health. I like to be in trouble. This is a crisis in action. So I have to move. I cannot be paralyzed by fear. So this is an extremely important phase happening, where now, Mr. or Mrs. Taurus, you have to act and make some fundamental changes to the likes of those that will work for you. And you need to make an inventory of what has been working and what has not been working these past 9 years, and then make the shift. And Taurus, you have to do it quickly. You have to do it quickly. Gemini. 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 To have Gemini in the ascendant means that you have Sagittarius in the 7th house. Gemini, someone's been feeding you bullshit or intellectual mumbo jumbo, playing head games. But you know a lot about that, don't you, Gemini? Be careful. What you put out there may come back to you 7 times. But Gemini is not as gullible as people might think. You know, a lot of people have a lot of prejudices when it comes to Gemini. They think that because they seem more scatterbrained, scattered out, from the outside looking in, Gemini might appear inconsistent, sloppy, gullible, and even dismissive, despondent. Come on, guys. You might think that about Gemini, and Gemini is nothing like that. It can be, though. It can be. But for the most part, Geminis are not like that. They have to be like that when they want to. And that's the only thing that we don't know or can control about Gemini. The trickster. Legba. Mercury. You know, a little funny, quirky, mysterious. Remember, we don't know the mythology of Mercury. We know very little about Mercury. So we know very little about Gemini and Virgo, ruled by this elusive and mysterious planet. In part, because Virgo is ruled by a whole other planet, which I believe in my heart has been destroyed. So, Gemini, you need to develop another source of reference when it comes to high intellect and the practical mundane vicissitudes of living based on applicability of philosophy. The philosophy that one derives from living life and the conclusive end result of what that is, which is different for everybody. Your relationships might have been your demise, or the area where you have gone wrong because you were misled, misinformed. It reminds me of The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Remember the album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill? That thing, that thing, that thing. You should listen to that album, Gemini. Because Lauryn Hill, I don't know if you know her, but I do know her story, and I know some of her people's. And Lauryn Hill, she's gone through a lot herself, and kind of still is. And a lot. But that album, and I've mentioned it before in other videos, was probably the best anthology of work that she's done. It was very Aquarius in its political message. And a lot of people paid attention to Miss Lauryn Hill and her character. A lot of people liked her, a lot of people didn't like her. And there was mixed bag. I don't give a shit about none of that. She produced an album that I think set the tone for what's happening now. She was the beacon of light that gave clues as to what was coming. And I don't think even she realizes that. Gemini, it's time that you get out of that rut of thinking or philosophy that no longer works for you and expand higher. You need to go and grasp your opposite polarity, which is Sagittarius. And it's very interesting that it is in its polarity also because it's opposing you. So this opposition from a major stellar alignment with the sun is not going to be a comfortable and easy transition for you, Gemini. Because you know how you do. If you cannot make logic sense of it, you don't want it. Be careful, Gemini. Here, you cannot be as dismissive easily as you are with everything else. Here, you're going to have to sit down and really figure out how you are affecting those around you and how your mere presence or even lack of action is also contributing to what's happening and changing around you. The 12th degree. The 12th degree. The degree of sorrow. Falling in your 7th house of relationships, boyfriends, girlfriends, engagement, marriage. You know, the 7th house is the house of marriage, the marriage partner. If you are not married and you're dating, be careful that you're not fed bullshit by your boyfriends or your girlfriends about philosophical shit that they may not know anything about, which we call dogma or indoctrination. We have to go towards the negative because the degree that this is occurring is 12 degrees. And this is Pisces, the degree of sorrow. So your relationships have caused you sorrow in some way or another. And the vehicle in which it happened was through the mental conditioning or brainwashing or something that just no longer works. You might need to go to school, Sagittarius, rules colleges and universities. Maybe your partners think that you're stupid, that you're not smart enough, that you're just surfacey but nothing else to you. You know, like a wet noodle. And you might have to prove them wrong. Because Gemini don't got to prove nothing to nobody. But at one time in your life, you might have to. And there's no better time than the present. Be careful with your partners and your relationships and who's feeding you bullshit and who's not. Verify, cross-check. You don't like to do that, Gemini, because that requires longevity of research and work, and you like things to be like. Here, you cannot play that card, Gemini. Because the ramifications can be huge. Gemini. Cancer. Cancer. To have Cancer on the ascendant means that Sagittarius is in the 6th house of Virgo. And here we have immutable with immutable, leading in cardinal water, and which will be considered an inconjunct or quincunx, but not really. More so with Scorpio in actual practice. But to have a Sagittarius in the 6th house means that your daily routine might need a revamping. Instead of sweeping the floors, because the 6th house belongs to Virgo, and it rules domesticity. So to have this rift happening in the 6th house of Virgo means that you might have to change your routine when it comes to cleaning your house. If you use a broom to sweep a rug, now it's time to buy a fucking vacuum cleaner. If you're washing dishes with a rag, well, maybe it's time to get a dishwasher. If you are still washing clothes and folding them, bringing them in, unfold them, get them out of the bag, and put them in hangers and closet. To do laundry can take a fucking whole day to do that shit. A whole day. Oh, God. Well, you know what? Maybe you need to pay a service and have it done for you. That's what I do. And it makes a world of difference. And it frees up so much time. I can't tell you how good that is. I don't care how much it costs. That's what money's for. So you have to do that. Cancer, spend a little. And make your life a little easier. The 6th house has many meanings. Many meanings. Among them is your food and nutrition and diet. Cancer. Maybe the diet is not working. Maybe the diet or food regimen is not working. You want to lose those extra pounds? Well, if it ain't working, if it ain't working, fix it. If it ain't fixed, don't broke it. If it ain't shaking, it ain't selling. You have to make a shift and change if it's not working to what will work. But Cancer, that requires effort. Do you believe that you are worth the effort? Because if you don't believe that you are worth the effort, and nobody else can believe it either. Maybe there was an old way in which you handled domesticity, and now you have to change it. Because we're dealing with the 12th degree of sorrow, maybe your domesticity was laden with responsibilities. The minute you get up to the minute you go to bed, there's always something to do. Man works from sunrise to sundown, but a woman's work is never done. That fits this description here. And if we're dealing with this, with the male Cancer, then maybe it's time that you find another way or another avenue to do work. Or maybe you might not be self-employed. Maybe you might go back to an idea of self-employment that you loved and thought about, but did not want to take the risk because you were scared. Now you got no choice. With this pandemic and how it affects society and the workplace, maybe that's what you need to do. All of us had to do a revamping after this pandemic, and it's still getting worse. And thank God that in this country, at least the demons that be are not too harsh. In other countries, the situation is worse. Do you know what's happening in Australia? Oh my God. And this is stuff that they don't put on the news. This is still the best country in the world. Because at least in this country, we are protected from the outside countries that are going through their shit. Remember, I was in Hong Kong last year. And Hong Kong is having a major fight with China. It wants to secede. And if that happens, the fate of China is in the balance. For centuries, Hong Kong has been a great supplier financially for China. And if Hong Kong leaves, the fate of China lies in balance. These are powerful political times, and I was there. When we landed, I told Emily, oh my God, I don't like the feeling here. Like I wanted to leave. It felt evil, it felt like something was about to happen. We got back, turned around, and left Hong Kong. No. And I was thankful that I came back to the United States. This is still the best country in the world. Because out there, it's whole, oh God, listen, if we get a little money and travel, you'll understand what I'm talking about. This is still, despite our own demons, this is still the best country in the world. Because at least I can say whatever the fuck I want and not have to worry about being killed or murdered. At least not openly and obviously, maybe in other ways, you know. This is, by the way, a Virgo country. Yeah, because I told you the birth chart of the United States is not Cancer, 1776, July 4th. That's for the sheep. The real shit was September 18, 1793. 12 noon. That's the real birth chart of the United States. And the Washington obelisk points towards the stars of Virgo. September 18, I was born on the 19th. So I'm the country's astrologer. So I can write in time. And I can tell you and prove it. Part of the fun for me is proving it to you and watch your face fall apart. The government is the shadow government. And every country is that way. Every country. We're just obvious. We put it right in your face, but because you don't know what's happening and you're not being took the right way, there's the side here. We have to now relearn and figure out what's really going on. And so that way we are clear of what's expected of us in the next coming 30 years or 60 years. Cancer, you are the foundation. This will affect you more than all of us because you represent the foundation, even of our founding fathers. So all cancers are going to be affected at a fundamental level that's going to change your shit and even your patriotism. Because Cancer rules that too now. Was it Eisenhower or Kennedy said, don't ask what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Bullshit. There is no country without a citizenry. And we are the citizenry. Now we have to reverse it. What can the elite in government do for us? And if it doesn't benefit us, then you have to be removed. And that is the true democratic way. And we have been slowly moving away from that to a totalitarian regime. Oh, come on, you know it's true. I can't fucking go to KFC and have some KFC chicken and it's a walkthrough, and it's not even a restaurant because I don't have that vaccine card. I can go to a game, I can go to the Yankees. I cannot even work out of my own gym that I paid $3,000 for worldwide. I cannot do shit because I don't have this vaccine. How is that democratic? They're taking away our civil liberties. This is very cancer. The foundation of how this country was supposedly founded. Now what you gonna do, cancer? You're cardinal. Who else can we rely on but the cardinal signs to do the shaking and the moving? So these are the things that are now coming to the fore. And if it hasn't hit the fan yet, it will by the 15th, the day of the devil. It is a time of great emotional maturity, Cancer. It's a time of great maturity. You can't be crabby and cranky. Enough of that, Cancer. We need your cardinality in any way that you give it. And we know it's going to be wonderful too. But you have to trust and go with the wave that you feel, Cancer. Cancer, the biggest asset you have is your feelings. You're different than the most of us. You can feel the truth. Do you think other people can do that? That's a gift. I can't feel the truth. As psychic and as clairvoyant as I am, I don't feel the truth that way. It'd be great. It has its flaws, though. It has its pitfalls. But then again, what doesn't? We live in a world of polarity. There's always going to be a good and a bad in a situation or in a perspective or in a point of view. Allow yourself, breath, Cancer, to be flexible. Don't be too Stalinistic in your thinking and in your judgments, Cancer. Can't do that now. Because the world is dismantling, as it should be, because we're entering a new age and there's going to be uncertainty and non-homogeneity. Well, you might have to sit in uncertainty for a minute. Can you muster the storm, Cancer? Oh. Love it. Leo! Leo. Now, you all know with Leo, I got to be a little extra special. Leo, the sign that rules the personality. The moon, Cancer, rules the ego, but the personality is ruled by Leo. And the personality, as well as the ego, is important. It is our gift to God, what we become. Oh. Leo, the sign of beauty, glamour, class, and all things luxurious. How is this affecting? Well, Sagittarius is forming a trine with all fire signs. With Leo, we have a fire trine. Oh, and the music that just came on is very fast and very wiggly, like very, yes. I love how the universe is in synchronicity. With my apparel, color red, fire, fire, Aries, Leo, and Sag. The fire signs are in high focus for this year coming. And it's about action. To have To have Leo on the ascendant. That means that you have Sagittarius in the 5th house, the natural house of Leo. So here, this here is a little complex because the 5th house has many meanings, many meanings. Let's start with the arts, music, the theater, motion pictures, the fashion industry, the beauty and the glamour industry. Let's begin there first. If any of you are involved in these fields and professions, and you are attractive and beautiful and all that stuff that Leo confers, then you might be heading towards a rude awakening of a sudden overhaul. It might have been the past 9 years a superficial, plastic sense of existence that wasn't genuine to the spirit or the soul. And to me, that seems more likely the case. Because we're dealing with the 12th degree Sagittarius conjunction with this solar eclipse and the new moon. And the 12th degree is the degree of sorrow, Pisces. So in the 5th house, maybe you have not obtained the object of your desire. Maybe you want to be an actor or a performer, and you've worked very hard and you haven't gotten there yet. And maybe that's a disappointment to you. The 5th house rules love and romance. Maybe you've had a heartache, deep, deep heartache that moved you to the core, and it made you angry and bitter. Now you don't want to open your heart anymore. And you've been like that for 9 years. Now it's time to release that and change it. Or it could be also that maybe you don't love yourself, because the 5th house rules Leo, the sign of self-love. And now it's time for you to put that shit away and start loving yourself and acting in a way that is comparable to someone who loves themselves. That could be too. Maybe there's a problem in the sack. The 5th house rules sex and pleasures of the bedroom. The actual fucking. Yeah, the 5th house rules that. The 8th house, Scorpio, rules sex. But that, the libido. But in the 5th house, it is the actual fucking. The porno movies, that's 5th house. So what you're doing in the bedroom, maybe it's not working. Maybe there's issues of impotency or things like that. Those are 5th house matters, along with the 8th house. And maybe you need to seek help and actively do it and find out what's going on. The conjunction to the South Node, which rules past lives, means that you might re-encounter an old love from past lives and reignite certain feelings that you thought were well done with, Leo. It's deep. It's deep. And it's about to get deeper. I feel like the old me again. Oh God, I've been so hard-headed, Lord. But I'm still surviving. And in style, I think. I like to believe that. Yeah. It's a complex situation with Leo. Even though it is a trine, and the trine usually in birth chart is positive. But because of the 12th degree of Pisces and sorrow, which finally the 12th degree, and we just left Pisces, everything is connecting. It's time to leave the mind and conditioning of Pisces, which now is the cross. You know how people have cross or rosaries? That's not going to be relevant in the next age. Just like people are afraid of pentagrams, which used to be the symbol for the god in those ages. Well, the cross will be seen as something demonic. Oh my God, that belonged to Jesus Christ. That was the old God in the 21st century. Oh, when was that? Oh, that was about 4,000 years ago. There was a God called Jesus Christ. And this is the symbol, the cross. Oh, please get that away from me. I don't know that. Well, this happened thousands of years ago. It's all in antiquity. We don't believe in that. That's that. No, that's not Ambute. Oh no, that's the God in this now. But it used to be Jesus Christ thousands of years ago in a country called America. That's what they're going to talk about us, like we talk about Atlantis and all other ages that went before us. We will be regarded in the same reverence. Nothing is new under the sun. All has been here before, and all repeats itself. Please understand that. Nothing is unique or original. It's all been here before. Okay. Leo. And I can tell you this, me having a very strong Leo in my own chart. You are a king, naturally. Or a queen, naturally. It is a divine birthright. I feel that way, and I know I am. No question about it. And that's why I move like one. Understand, Leo, that people are going to hate you. They're going to be jealous of you. They're going to be envious of you. And they're going to hold you to a higher standard. And the pain inflicted upon you from others is only a reflection of their own self-hatred and inadequacy, which you, by being yourself, project onto others. So Leo, when you are happy with yourself, you become a symbol of an opposition of those who are not happy with themselves. And it is those that can abuse you, or me, and that's happened. If you don't know who you are, people can knock you out the box. It's not easy to knock Leo off the box. People have tried to knock me off the box and still do. And I stand firm like the sun in the heavens stands firm. People are going to hate that kind of strength, Leo. And that's human nature. People don't like strong people because it's a reflection of their own weakness. And who can stand to see their own weakness in front of them? So think about that, Mr. Leo, when you get adversity thrown at you. When you get that thrown at you like that, like I have, that's when you know you're doing something right. Anything that goes against the gradient reaps its highest reward, Leo. Love yourself and know that you are acting in accord with the universe because you are the king. And there is no human evolution without a leader to evolve the rest of us. And that's not Capricorn. That's not Aries. That's not Libra. And that's not Cancer. That's you, Leo, which rules the temperament of the soul. Virgo. The Virgo, man or woman, is something else. As mysterious as this lily. Virgo, mutable earth. It rules flowers and trees and plants and all that's beautiful on the earth. It is the Virgin. Some of the most attractive people on the planet fall under Virgo. Not because of physical lust or affectation, but because of the innocence of beauty. And this beauty is not physical. It radiates from within the soul. And then it externalizes in the physicality of the beauty of Libra, the cardinal sign that precedes it. Virgo, you are a mutable trine with Sagittarius, since you are mutable earth and mutable fire. But it is a square. We're dealing with a square here. Virgo, we're dealing with the third and fourth. With Virgo, it's tricky. It can be either tricky because of the interception and interpolation. Virgo is complex. Yeah, it's complex. But there's a radiance of beauty that's almost indescribable in Virgo, alluding to its mystery, which we do not know or fully understand. And myself as a Virgo, representing that mystery myself, even I am not quite sure. I've heard a lot of what other astrologers have to say, and I am not quite sure that I agree with everything I hear. Many of these astrologers are young. I'm 54 and very well rounded and very well educated. Younger people are not there yet. So when I look at the astrologers now, my age, which are very few, and many of them are not talking the things that I'm talking about or that we see. And that's a political motivation. You know, they have a channel, they don't want problems, they don't want controversy. And they do it for a living, for income. I do it not for a living or income, because I have that secondary. Yes, of course, you ask for donations, because it's only right to do that. But, because it's an energy, it's an exchange. But I go where angels fear to tread. And I hope in the future the other astrologers see these videos and follow that same path. Because I think it serves us better when we're more direct. But not everyone has that same level of courage that I do. I have a certain level of courage that puts me out there, even if it's dangerous. Most other astrologers won't do it. But I'll do it. What the fuck am I supposed to do at 54? I've lived my life, and I lived a charmed life, and still do. It gets boring after a while if you don't step out of yourself and do something for society that groomed you and raised you and made you who you are today. You have to give that back. And this is how I give it. This is my giving back. And Virgos were very good at that. So with the Sagittarian square, you are here to bring light intellectually to that which has always been true and break away that which is false. Yeah. You are here to restore a sense of balance that has been missing for a long time. And this is to be done through healing, through counseling, and through other methods and means that can really bring healing to a population, whether the healing is mental, emotional. You, Virgo, are the one, the opposite polarity of Pisces, the age that just ended, to be the leader in how to heal a nation or a world that's been traumatized by the deceptions and ills of Pisces. Don't forget that Pisces is the sign of sorrow. So this age was full of sorrow. And we're in need of desperate healing on all levels. And Virgo, you with the rest of the other signs will be the leaders in marshaling that healing. For Virgo rules mundane matters. The healing may have to happen, Virgo, and you washing the dishes, doing the laundry, sweeping, mopping the floors. You know what? It's funny. You can gain deep satisfaction cleaning a house. Now, I grew up where I never had to clean. Either my sisters did it or we had maids that did it. Never had to do that. And it's so funny that when I was going through my situation with Emery and the separation and all of that, and I never lifted a finger in that house to do anything. Either we had services to do it or he did it. And as I'm here in my apartment, I'm alone and all that, and going through my depressions and all that, and still needing to stay focused to work and do what I do. I just was okay, let me wash the dishes. I fucking hate doing that. I was watching this and then I started doing it every day. And it was so relaxing and meditative. And then mopping and sweeping. That now I love doing domestic work. And I'm a Virgo, the ruler of domesticity. But I never liked it. I've always felt that I wasn't above it. That that's underneath me. But I never treated people that did that kind of work as underneath. And I used to pay them a lot of money and be very generous. I just didn't want to be bothered with it. And it came to be that I had to. I no longer had someone do the dishes for me, do my laundry for me. And I was alone. I had to learn to do it myself. This is part of the transformation. And yes, it was painful. It was psychologically painful, very painful. But it didn't destroy me. I found a way to reinvent myself. And that is what all of us have to do from time to time to continue to evolve. And the higher we go in evolution, the more difficult and painful the experiences become. It's fucked up, but that seems to be the way that the gods have designed this system to be. And we're going to end here because we are reaching an hour. And I'm bounded by that. Please give donations. It helps. You know, it helps. It hasn't been much. So thank you, and I really do appreciate that. And we're going to begin with the last 6. And we're going to be doing that shortly. But first, let me see who's here. Because I wanted to do that. Now I can unplug the phone and not have to worry of being deplugged. And let me look at Mr. Magoo. Mr. Magoo, where are you? Is that him? Is that it? Yeah, there it is. Oh! Oh, you tried it. Motherfucker, you tried it because you were calling after my drink. But he didn't knock it down. He tried it. He tried it. All right, let's see. Let me go all the way to the front. All the way, and I'm going all the way to the front. Oh, shit, that's a lot. And see who's here. And say thank you. Black Wisdom. Hey. Kaylin April. Sugar Bear. Cat Sterling. Torin Floyd. Shaw Rock. Thank you for the love and the healing, Shaw Rock. Okay, who else? Who else? Myra, Jesse Floyd. Floyd, Xavier. Thank you, Xavier. Kaylin April. Okay. Oh. Queen of. That's your, what's that? Oh, yeah, and your names are so interesting. Queen of Love, Fortune. Why are things not easier as we ascend and evolve? Because Jehovah, the God of this solar system, does not want us to ascend and evolve. Because if we do, then he must die. And that's deep right there. New Jersey. Black Cat. Leah Leon. SD. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for that. What's this? Q. VCRQ, is that it? Archangel. Thank you guys so much and we are going to take a break and then we will continue with Virgo through Pisces.